Hello, creative mind. Welcome home. I'm Survival, and today we shall be discussing about chord diagram. So now, what is chord diagram? Chord diagram is simply the map or picture of the guitar on a book. That when you look at the book, you'll be able to read whatever guitar chord that is there and then play it on your guitar. That is just what chord diagram is all about. So now, this chord diagram is actually very important and essential to you, I mean you, a beginner in the guitar. So I will encourage you to pay a great attention to this chord diagram, because if you miss out on this, you may not be able to follow in other classes, because for you to play guitars, you need to see chords, you need to google up chords, books, and then chords of a particular song to play that song. So if you don't know how to read and interpret guitar chords or chord diagram, how will you be able to play it? So I will encourage you, please pay attention to this. It's not difficult, it's something very simple. Try to pay attention and try to understand it. So now, let's get into the chord diagram proper. Like I told you, it's simply that map or picture of the guitar on the book. The map, picture of guitar on the book, that when you look at it, you'll be able to, tell this is the chord, the guitar chord that is written there, and you'll be able to play it on your guitar. So now, the chord diagram is always done in a way that the guitar is drawn. The chord diagram is drawn as if the guitar is facing you like this. You see the way the guitar is facing me? That is how the chord diagram is drawn. So maybe you yourself, it will be like this. The way the guitar is facing you like this, that is how the chord diagram appears. That is how the chord diagram is drawn. So the chord diagram is drawn as if the guitar is facing you like this, with the bass, with the sixth string by your left, and then your first string by your right. Sixth string by your left, followed by the fifth, the fourth, the third, the second, and then the first. That is how the chord diagram is drawn. It's drawn as if the guitar is facing you like this, with the sixth string by the left, and then the first string by the right. And again, in the chord diagram, you will notice some vertical lines like this. Those vertical lines are simply the guitar strings. The vertical lines you see on the chord diagram are the guitar string. I already told you the sixth string will be by your left, and then the first string by your right. And also you will notice some horizontal lines in the chord diagram. Those horizontal lines are simply the frets. The frets. Now, there is something I want you to understand, and please don't make mistake about it. The first horizontal line you see in the chord diagram is not actually the first fret. Take a look at this. I hope you are seeing this. Will I call it margin? This margin here. When you see the first horizontal line on your chord diagram, it is this. The second horizontal line, then comes the first fret. You get, the third horizontal line is the second fret. So that is how the chord diagram is. It starts by this margin, with this margin here, before the first fret, second fret, third fret, and so on. But you know, in between the first horizontal line you see on the chord diagram, and then the second horizontal line, in between them is where you fret. And that is considered your first fret. Then second fret, third fret, fourth fret, and so on. So now, most chord diagram doesn't go beyond 4 frets. It's always written in 4 frets. So again, if you look at your chord diagram, you see a circle. Some circles in your chord diagram. Those circles there tells you the strings you are to fret. And also, it tells you at the fret, maybe if you are to fret it on the first fret or the second fret or the third fret. That is what actually those circle does. So inside the circle again, you will see some numbers. You see numbers inside the circle. The numbers inside the circle tells you the fingers you are to use in fretting that particular string at that particular fret. That is what the numbers tell you. So now this is how the fingers are numbered. The fingers are numbered this way. This one being the 1, this one the 2, this one the 3, and this one the 4. I will take it again. This one is the 1, 2, 3, 4. For the last time again, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That is how they are numbered. So again, sometimes in some strings you see the maybe like most especially number 1 written in the 3rd string, and maybe let's take for example written in the 3rd string and then also again in the 1st string. That simply means you should lay your finger across. You should lay it across like this. From maybe the 3rd string, you should lay your number 1 finger across, maybe from the 4th string where the 1 is written, and then the 1st string where it is also written. That is what it simply means. So again, in the chord diagram, you notice that sometimes some strings are having X. X on a string simply means you are not to strum the string. You are to avoid it. You are not to strum it. When you see X on a string, it simply means do not strum or pick that string. So if you see O on the string, it simply means the string is an open string. That means you are not to fret it using your left hand, but you are to strum it using your right hand. But in my book, which is Learn the Guitar with Ease, and some other books, you might simply see some strings that have nothing there. They are not having X and they are not having numbers. It simply means the string is an open string. You are not to fret it using your left hand, but you are to strum it using your right hand. So that is what it means. So again, another thing you need to know about chord diagram is you also notice some chords are having some numbers written outside of the diagram. I mean, just immediately outside of the chord diagram. The number you are seeing there is simply telling you the frets at which the chord starts. Like I've told you before, this is the 1st fret, 2nd, 3rd, this is the 4th, 5th, and then so on. So if you see 5 written outside of it, that simply means the chord diagram starts from the 5th fret, which is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means it's starting from the 5th fret. So I think that is the basic thing you need to know about the chord diagram. So let's take some examples of some chord diagram and put it into practice for you to understand what chord diagram is and to internalize the little I just showed you. So if you take a look at the chord diagram on the screen, you will see this. That is actually the chord of A major. You will see 2 written inside a circle, 3, and also 4. Like I told you, this is our number 1 finger, this is our 2, this is our 3, and this is our 4. So that simply tells you, because what is on the chord there is 2, 3, 4. That means you are using these fingers in doing this, in fretting at the left hand. So now the finger 2 is written on the 4th fret. Don't forget I told you the finger 2 is written at the 4th string. Don't forget I told you the 6th string is by your left, followed by the 5th, and then the 4th. So the 2 is written on the 4th string. That means we are to use 2 in fretting the finger 2. We are to use the finger 2 in fretting the 4th string. And where the 4th string is on the 2nd fret. So this is it. This is our 1st fret. This is our 2nd fret. So we are to use this finger 2 to hold down the 4th string on the 2nd fret. Again, we can see 3 again. That means this finger, which is 3, we are to use it to fret the third string also on the second fret. And then you can see 4 again, and then the 4 is on the second string, and also we are to use it on the second fret. So that is this. That is what the chord diagram there is telling us to do. And that is the chord of A. So we will take a second example, and that is the chord of A. Now, if you notice on the 6th string and then the 5th string, there is nothing there. It's not having X. That means it's an open string, and it's not having any circle or number. That means we are not to fret it. So it's an open string, which means we can strum it. We can strum it. We can strum the 6th one, the 5th one, the 4th. We can strum it. The number 6 and the number 5 string, they are open strings. So that's why you are not seeing any number there, any X there, or anything. But like I told you, in some guitar books, you see O written on it to indicate that is an open string. So let's take a second example. The second example, from what you can see there now, there is 3 outside of the chord diagram, which means the chord starts from the 3rd fret, which is 3. So we count it. This is our 1st fret, this is our 2nd fret, this is our 3rd fret. So the chord starts from here, which is the 3rd fret. And then you can see 1 written on the 4th string and also on the 1st string. 1 is written on the 4th string and on the 1st string, which means we are to lay our finger 1 from the 4th string to the 1st string. 1 is written on the 4th string and 1st string, which means lay your finger 1 from the 4th string to the 1st string. And then also you see 3. 3 is written just on the next fret, and the 3 is on the 1st string. So this is our finger 3. This is the next fret after this first one, and then we are to use our finger 3 to hold down the 1st string just in the 2nd fret of the diagram. This is the 2nd one because the fret starts from the 3rd fret. So this is what the chord diagram is telling us. Then again, on the 6th string and the 5th one, you can see X there. That means do not strum the 6th string and the 5th string on your right hand. Do not strum it. So they are not part of the chord. Don't strum it. You are only to strum from the 4th string to the 1st string. So this is what the chord diagram is. So let's take a third example. In the third example, you can see that the 9 is written outside of the chord diagram, which means that our chord diagram starts from the 9th fret. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we are to use the position markers, this one is simply the 3rd, this one is the 5th, this one is the 7th, this one is the 9th. So our chord starts from the 9th fret. And then on that 9th fret, that is the 1st fret there in the chord, you see 9, you see 1 written on the 1st string. That means we are to use 1 in holding down the 1st string, just at the 9th fret there. So again, you see 2 written at the 2 is on the 3rd string, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So this is the 2nd fret, and then this is the 3rd string. So it will be like this. And again, you see 3 written at the 3rd fret of the 6th of the 4th string. So which is this? This is our 3rd string. This is our 3rd fret, and then that is our 4th string. So I will take it again. 3 is written on the 4th string, and it is to be stopped at the 3rd fret. So that is it. And again, you can see 4. 4 is written on the second string, which is this, and it is to be stopped at, it's to be fret, and you are to fret it at the 3rd fret, so which is this. This is what the chord is all about. So that is all you need to know about the chord diagram. For your assignments, I want you to go Google up as many chord diagrams as possible and try to practice and play it on your guitar. The more you practice it, the more you apply it on the guitar, the more you get used to it. That anytime you see any chord diagram, just mere looking at it, you'll just be able to play it on your guitar. So that is for your assignment. Sorry, I forgot to tell you something. The last chord we just played now, the 6th string and the 5th string are also not to be played because you can see X there. So try to Google as much chord diagram as possible and play as many as possible so that you get used to it, and with that you internalize this what I just showed you now, and it will really help you. So thank you so much for watching. See you next class. God bless you. If you are new to my channel and you don't want to miss any of my videos, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. With that, you get notification anytime I upload new videos online. You can let me know how you feel about my videos using the comment section. You can support me to make better video tutorials to help you and to help every other person who wish to learn this instrument. Thank you so much for watching. See you next class. God bless you.